Personally, I like video games, but I don't want to shell out all the cash that's needed to buy both a laptop and a desktop setup. The thing is though, when you buy a laptop, sure the portability might be great, but once you plug it into an external monitor, it still screams like a jet engine sitting on your table. So I've come up with a little solution that involves cutting 2 square holes in the back of a laptop. And here you might be wondering, Dalton, squares cut into the back of a laptop? How the hell could that possibly help with cooling? And let me show you. Right here. Here's where all the magic happens. These aluminum cooling blocks that I simply can place onto these thermal pads that I have underneath the backplate of the laptop. And as you can see, they run all the way over to this little mini radiator and the water reservoir. See, it's plastic, not ceramic. Of course, I've wanted to get a ceramic one. I just keep forgetting every single time I'm at the store. But you just see there's like a little $5 aquarium pump in there, making this whole loop work. And normally it sits on the ground because I have a cat. I don't want him to go and just spill the water on the laptop. So of course, this is just up here to display it for y'all. But you know, it works. And let me show you what else I'm gonna do with the whole project. Since currently for power, I literally just have it plugged in. I have to go and unplug it every single time I want to do anything with it. So while the current system works, it's just not quite as efficient as I want it to be. Like starting off with this cheap thermal pad, I mean it works, but honestly, I need an upgraded one. This one's about twice as thermally efficient. But the bigger thing I'm going to be adding to the system, along with the little power switch here, is this Peltier cooler. Now what this does is it actually uses electricity to remove heat from one side and add it to the other side. So what it does is it makes the cool side a lot cooler, but I need a hot side, or a cooler on the hot side in order to cool it off. So I'm going to be using this heat sink and fan powered by this temperature controlled relay module. Now what this does is it uses a temperature probe to tell whenever the system is overheating via setting a little setting on this board, and it'll actually activate the Peltier cooler only when necessary, because whenever I'm gaming for a long time it still kind of overheats. So here we go. I got everything installed and it's all working just fine. The temperature relay actually has like a display on there. It only displays in Celsius, but you know, I'll take it. So that'll help during testing. And it was as easy to install the electrothermal cooler as just cutting the line and splicing it in half, cutting the silicone tubing, which that's a whole thing. This whole thing uses silicone tubing. It's really strong stuff, and it really easily attaches to these little nylon connectors, and it makes the whole process a whole lot easier. But I'm gonna go do the testing, and then I'll get back to you guys on how everything went. So I'm not gonna lie, turns out Peltier coolers kinda useless. It only ended up taking off about 1.5 degrees Celsius, which honestly not great. What did end up taking off a lot of temperature was the radiator itself, because when I turned the fan off, it rose almost 15 degrees Celsius, which brings it from like 95 Fahrenheit to 120 Fahrenheit. That water was cooking, let me tell you. It was nice, almost steamy. But that's neither here nor there. Before the cooler was installed, I was getting CPU temps of like 80 degrees. That would sometimes peak to like 90. GPU degrees that would like mostly hover around 70. But bear in mind, this is with the laptop fans full blast, like full jet engine mode. But after I installed the coolers, even at active temperature, it was still only 60 degrees across the board, which that's what the fans almost completely off. Because, you know, I mean, the system isn't just cooling down the CPU and GPU, there's a bunch of other parts that it cools down, so it's good to keep the fans running just like a little bit. But after everything's said and done, honestly, the upgraded thermal pad made a ton difference. Like, it definitely helped like a whole lot, because I was hovering around these temperatures before the install. So, yeah. If you're still here, you're probably wondering how you can do this yourself. And I gotta say, it's honestly pretty easy. Like personally, I just used a Dremel with a cutoff wheel to cut 2 holes in the back of the laptop after I measured the positions of the CPU and GPU after taking the back of the laptop off. See, that's sort of like paramount here. But the thing is that it has to be like a flat style, like it has to have flat style heat pipes that, like, you know, are flat, so that the thermal pads can be flush to them. so that, you know, you can actually usefully put the cooling blocks on there. But other than that, I mean, it's honestly a pretty simple process. So there we go. I had just marked the location of where the water blocks are supposed to be, and then I got to cut them out with the Dremel, of course. I had this idea like a couple of years ago. So thank you to Procrastination for making this video take so long. It was inspired by these really cheap water blocks that I found on AliExpress that were aluminum, and then I bought the radiator also, like, for literally no reason. Both were just sitting on my counter, and so when I had the idea to water cool my laptop like this is really all I had to do, was just cut a couple of holes and order the thermal pads. Of course, here I am actually finishing the holes. They weren't just perfect while dremeled out. Yo, look at me go, just filing up the big old file. Yo, so Linus Tech Tips also was a major inspiration for this project. I mean, his version was a lot more complex, but I figured that this is probably something that most people can do if you really can only afford like one computer like me. So you might also be wondering, like, oh, I'm probably tanking the value of the laptop, the resale value, by doing this, but I checked, and for my laptop it's like 40 to 60 bucks for a replacement back, and honestly I think that that's worth it. And so after that part, I just hit it with a wireless Dremel, which look at me go with that little thing, and you'll watch me actually lose the bit in like 3, 2, well, oh, there it goes. Oh, and this is actually the part where I can go ahead and break down the laptop. I already undid all the screws and stuff. Got to get rid of the old thermal pads. And off camera, I measured the new one and cut it in half perfectly. But of course, my head was covering the part where I was using a pencil to actually scribe where the new blocks go, since these are a lot more expensive, so I can't use like nearly as much. So I had to just like make those perfect little scribes so I could go ahead and make sure it's in the perfect place. But yeah, honestly, that's all there is to it. It's not super like manually taxing as long as you know how to take apart a laptop. So here's actually the cost of everything, starting with the power supply. It was like $10 on Amazon, only about $3 on AliExpress. This is what I use to split the power, but it's honestly dealer's choice how you want to split the power. This radiator slash fan combo is like 20 bucks on Amazon, but only like $10 on AliExpress. This aquarium pump is $10 on Amazon again, only $5 on AliExpress. This silicone tubing, honestly about the same, $10 Amazon, $8 AliExpress. And you can just skip the electric thermal cooler. These hose barbs are $6 for a pack of 6 on Amazon, $4 each on AliExpress, so I guess it depends how many you actually want to use. These water blocks are the expensive part. They're $10 each on Amazon, so 20 bucks in total, but only $5 each on AliExpress. And then these thermal pads are honestly like hit or miss. On AliExpress, they tend to kind of lie about the specs, but they're like $12 on Amazon for a solid set, and then about $4 to $5 on AliExpress for a decent set that looks legit, you know. So here it is laid out so you can actually see it. You see, like, I have everything priced out and then all the totals. It's gonna be about double the price on Amazon than AliExpress. Here, let me get that off so you can actually see the whole thing. But yeah, here's all the pricing. You're welcome. So I hope you enjoyed my novel way of water cooling a laptop. It's not too expensive, and it's honestly fairly easy for everything said and done. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like if you like the video, and subscribe because I'm new and I need subscribers. This is my first video, but I promise there's more coming. Engineering content and other stuff. But hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you again for watching.